I guess I got a little anxious. Man, class of 2018, give yourselves a round of applause. Congratulations to you all, to all of the parents, the friends and family, cousins, aunts, uncles. Give yourself a round of applause too. I know all of the parents are sitting in the audience today thinking, man, finally these kids can get out of my pockets. Before I get started, I want to ask each of you to raise your hand if you want to be great. Anybody want to be great? Good. I'll get back to that later. You know, when it was first announced that I would be the speaker today, a buddy of mine texted me and he said, man, I hear they have a pretty good speaker this year for commencement. And I said, well, I think they had 10 to 15 people lined up before me, but they couldn't get anybody confirmed, so I guess you guys are stuck with me. But look on the bright side. At least this year you have a speaker. Sorry, President, I'm sorry. But I would like to thank President Schlissel today, all of the regents, and all of your distinguished faculty for inviting me here today for this amazing opportunity. This is truly awesome, man, and I appreciate it. You know, I was asked to do this once before at another university, and, you know, I had to respectfully decline. You know, and the reason was, you know, this is an awesome responsibility, and I wasn't ready for it. And that's partially correct. But the main reason is that I was holding out that maybe if there was ever a chance that my university would ask me to be the commencement speaker, that this would be the first place that I would do it. So I was holding out for you, class of 2018. I gotta admit today I'm a little bit nervous because, you know, not because of how many of you are out here. I mean, I did play in front of 106,000 people right here in this stadium, but because this is your moment. This is a moment that you guys will remember forever, and I want to be a positive part of those memories. When I was preparing for today's speech, I had to think back of, you know, what first attracted me to the University of Michigan. And initially it was, you know, my older brother. He was a huge Michigan fan, and he first made me aware of the maize and blue. But then, as I grew older, you know, I started to notice and, you know, become aware of different players and, of course, teams that were here at the University of Michigan that made me excited to be a Michigan fan. I remember a guy by the name of Tony Bowles. He was my favorite Michigan player. He was a running back here in the late 80s. You guys might not have heard of him because he suffered an injury here and his career was cut short, but tall, slender guy, packed a lot of power, and man, when he hit that open field, it was a thing of beauty. And then there was Desmond Howard. I know you guys remember Desmond. You remember that diving catch against Notre Dame? Nobody can forget that. But I got to give you guys some interesting parallels between me and Desmond Howard. Desmond is from Ohio. I'm from Ohio. Desmond left Ohio and came to Michigan. I left Ohio and came to Michigan. Desmond Howard ran a punt return down that sideline right there against you-know-who for a victory against you-know-who. And guess who else ran a punt return down that same sideline against you-know-who? Me. Desmond Howard also went on to win the Heisman Trophy. I also went on to win the Heisman Trophy. Desmond left here, played in the NFL. Desmond Howard played for the Oakland Raiders. Well, guess where I got drafted? I got drafted to the Oakland Raiders. Desmond Howard played for the Green Bay Packers. Desmond Howard won a Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers. Go, Pack, go. I, too, played for the Green Bay Packers and went on to win a Super Bowl. Desmond Howard, when he left his NFL career, he went into television, and now he's one of the most respected college analysts that we know today. So naturally, what did I do when I left the NFL? I went into television. So I know that seems a little weird, but I guess there could be worse people to follow than yours truly, Desmond Howard. And then there's the Fab Five. You guys know the Fab Five: Jimmy, Jalen, Jawan, Ray, and Chris. You know, they were the greatest, collection of talent that we had seen. Those guys had swagger oozing out of their veins, man, and they changed the culture. I remember protesting a call in my home at one of their games, and we had a low-hanging divide between our living room and our kitchen, and I jumped and hit my head, man, and almost knocked myself out, so I had to sit down for the rest of the game. So as you can see, I've been giving up my body for Michigan long before I ever got here. Once you get here, you get to witness, the tradition of Michigan. And it is an awesome place to be. But I believe that when you leave here, that's the time where you're really going to appreciate your time being here. You're going to start to notice people that went here, and you're just going to start beaming with pride that person went to Michigan. You take people like Dr. Sanjay Gupta. You watch him on TV, he's one of the most respected medical minds that we know today. Right now, as we speak, he's fighting for the legalization of medical marijuana to combat seizures and other health issues. And I say to myself, he went to Michigan. We have any Star Wars fans in here? Just think that the king of Zamunda, and you have to watch Coming to America to know who that is, and the voice of Darth Vader are the same person. Luke, I am your father. Yes, James Earl Jones. He went right here at Michigan. Just a couple of weeks ago, I was here. I was being inducted into the Michigan Hall of Honor with other great Michigan athletes, and I found out that up until a couple of weeks ago, that the last American woman to win the Boston Marathon, Lisa Rainsberger, she went right here to Michigan. So there's going to be many examples out there once you guys leave here that you'll find, and you'll beat your chest with pride knowing that person went to the same school as you. Now, I have something that's been on my mind that I have to tell you guys. I talked about Desmond and myself running down that sideline to victory against you-know-who, and you know what? You guys haven't experienced that feeling very much against that school, and it hurts my heart. It really does, it really does. So I'm telling you here today that in 212 days from now, your Michigan Wolverine team will go down to Columbus, march into that stadium, and we will beat you-know-who to bring that familiar feeling of victory back to the University of Michigan again. But that's not all. We're going to come back to Michigan, and we're going to build a big, beautiful wall on the southern border of Michigan and Ohio, so that none of those bad people from Ohio can ever get into Michigan again. Wait. Hold on. Now, if we built the wall between Michigan and Ohio, then that means me or Desmond wouldn't have been able to come here. All right, scratch that. We won't do that. And don't worry, this isn't a political speech, but you get my point. You know, my message today to you guys is about help. And it's about giving and receiving help. You know, I grew up in a small, tight-knit community in Fremont, Ohio, to a single mother of 3. Now, when you say single mother, it's always inferred that that person did it by themselves. But that's not possible. Nobody can ever do everything by themselves. We all need help. And sometimes the help comes from places that you don't know, and you may not even recognize that help. So I have an interesting story from my childhood that I'd like to share with you today that kind of embodies that dynamic. When I was born with club feet. So my feet were growing inward. And my mother, she noticed, took me to the doctors, and, that was the diagnosis. Doctor, let my mother know that, as long as we take care of it now, it won't be a problem. We caught it early, so he'll be fine. But I had to wear these corrective shoes that, had my feet fixed outwards. And there was a bar in between those 2 shoes. And so you can imagine, I couldn't move around very well. And so my brother tells me that when we would be at home, him and my sister running around playing, I would sit there and I'd be crying because I couldn't get up, I couldn't move, I couldn't join them. So what he would do is he would begin to come, grab me, and he would drag me around the house just to be around my brother and my sister. But I was always crying, always fussing, because I can imagine that, as a kid, I want to get up, I want to do it myself, but I wasn't able to do it. And so that continued for some time, and he said one day, when he came to grab me, he saw a smile on my face. And so I'm thinking in my tiny little brain that all of a sudden I thought to myself, I had to think to myself, you know what? My brother is actually helping me. It's not about me not being able to get up and move around by myself. I have somebody here that is willing to help me get to where I need to go. And just imagine for my brother, who was grabbing me all of these times, and I'm sitting there crying and fussing, it's a hassle. But now he has somebody that's willing to help him help me. And so that went on for some time, and I feel like for you guys going forward in your life, you're going to be one of those 2 people. You're going to be that child that's sitting there crying, mad about not being able to do something or wanting to do something, and figure that you need to do it by yourself, but you're not able to do it. You need a helping hand. And then you're going to be that older brother who's going to continue to reach down and try to reach out to you and try to help someone along the way. And then finally one day, you're going to reach down and you're going to see that smile. And it's going to be a feeling like you'll never forget. The fact that you've been able to help someone get on their feet. Earlier this month, there was the anniversary of the assassination of one of the great givers of our time, Dr. Martin Luther King. Now, during the day of that remembrance, there was videos and images of, horrible atrocities against people. And most of those people looked like me. And for Dr. King cared about people. And he gave his time, he gave his energy, and ultimately, Dr. King gave his life. But those things that were happening to people, it never stopped him from trying to help others. He helped people he knew. He helped people that he didn't know. And that's because of one major quality that I believe that he had, that I hope all of you have as you go through your life. So if I asked you all today to look around and tell me who you see, you would tell me, I'm sure, that you see myself up here, your commencement speaker, you see your president, you see the faculty, you look around, you see your classmates, your parents in the stands. And that's the obvious answer, and it's the right answer. But I'm gonna ask you to look at it in even more simpler terms. When you look around, I don't want you to see black, white, Asian. I don't want you to wonder if a person is Democrat or Republican, gay or straight. When you look around, I just want you to simply see human beings. Nothing more, nothing less. And I guarantee you, if you can begin to see people that way, just as human beings, you'll begin to treat them a little different. You'll begin to understand their points of views. So today, from now on, if you wake up in the morning and you see yourself only as a human being, you'll even begin to respect yourself a little bit more. So today I'm asking you, I'm begging you, do not carry the hate forward. My wife is begging you, don't carry the hate forward. My two boys who have to grow up in this world are begging you, don't carry the hate forward, but carry forward that spirit of helping others. As I end today, I want to leave you guys with one of my favorite quotes of all time by Bruce Lee. You've heard of Bruce Lee. But I feel like as you guys go through life, if you're able to step back and analyze each situation, I believe you guys will be able to get through anything. And so I'm going to ask you guys to close your eyes, because I feel like if you can visualize it and hear the words, you'll be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. Be like water, making its way through cracks. Do not be assertive, but adjust to the object, and you should find your way around it or through it. If nothing within you stays rigid, outside things will disclose themselves. Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. If you put water into a cup, it becomes that cup. If you put water into a bottle, it becomes that bottle. If you put water into a teapot, it becomes that teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friends. So class of 2018, as I leave you today, I ask that you see me as I see you, and that is as a human being. I now grant you permission to be great. And as always, go blue.